What is up? Welcome back to another episode. This is another quick episode, a little short, answering your questions. And we're going to jump right into it today. Today, the question is, do you wait for the perfect stock opportunity or make any situation count on a target buck? So this is a very hunting-related question, not camera-related, which we do both. And we're talking about mule deer. So great question, though, because I feel like when you're first starting out as a mule deer hunter, there's so much, like, unknown. It's like, man, should I go here? Should I not? Is this good stock? Is this a bad stock? And you have to just learn, and you have to learn through failure, which really sucks. And it's not the funnest way to learn, but sometimes it's the best way to learn. Now, you don't have to always learn from failure. You can learn from guys who know what they're talking about. A few guys I've learned from is Brian Barney. He is awesome when it comes to this kind of stuff, and he has podcasts about this, and he has guests on his podcast that talk a lot about this type of thing. I learned a lot from Marlon Holden, Gray Light Hunter on Instagram. He has some content about this, and I've asked him questions about this. And then again, like, I've learned from the School of Hard Knocks of just like, this is, you have to go out and do it and figure this stuff out. So every situation is going to be different, and it's going to change based on the hunt, the terrain, the deer, the pressure. If there's a lot of people out on a hunt, you may want to make a move sooner and be a little more aggressive, because that opportunity might go to someone else if you're not aggressive with it and make that opportunity count. To go through real quick, kind of how a perfect situation would be is you're sitting on the glassing knob, you glass up a buck in the morning, he goes and beds down in a spot. You don't want to go after him because in the morning, because what's going to happen is those thermals are not going to be super steady yet, and that buck is very likely, probably I would say like 80%, 90% of the time, that buck is going to bed down mid-morning. He's going to get up in an hour or two in the late morning, and he's going to move to a different bed in the shade, and he's going to stick there for a little bit for the noon to afternoon time frame. And then he might get up again around like 2 or 3, and he's going to move beds again. And it's all about staying in the shade and staying cool. So, but the best time to stalk that buck is going to be midday, because your thermals, so your wind on the mountain, when it's hot outside and the sun's blazing, the wind tends to blow uphill. And if you don't know what thermals are, you should look it up and you should learn about it, because it's super important to learn about if you're mule deer hunting. So the ideal situation is you sit there in the morning, you glass up a buck, he beds in the morning, you watch him, he gets up, he moves to his new bed, maybe around 11:30, beds down. You come in above him, the wind's great, you stalk in on him, and you shoot him. I would say where most people, and me included, mess this up is the buck beds at 9:30, and it's getting hot outside. The thermals are kind of switching. It kind of feels like the wind's blowing pretty good uphill, right? It might be a little swirly, but you're like, yeah, it's hot outside. The sun's beating down. So you get up, you move over, and then you get there, and that buck is either gone, or the thermals did not switch as hard as you thought they did, and your wind is swirly, and that buck smells you, and he's out of there. Because that buck might have moved beds. Maybe he's still in the same bed, but you moved over there too quick, and now your wind is swirly, so that buck smells you. That is probably the number one mistake, probably, in knowing when to make an opportunity count. Now, there are times when that is the only opportunity you're going to get. There's times where you know that buck's going to go bed in the timber, and you're never going to see him for the rest of the day. So you need to be on his trail when he goes in that timber. Like I said, it's very situationally dependent, and you're only going to learn from doing and making the mistake or making it work. Some people are more aggressive than other people. So I hunt with Marlon Holden. He is pretty dang aggressive. We were on we were on some bucks one morning, and they fed over the backside of the hill. We didn't see them, but Marlon's like, hey, we're going to go, and we're going to sit on the top of that hill, and if the thermals are right, we're going to drop in, even though he didn't even know exactly where the bucks were bedded. It was the type of country where if the thermals are good and you can creep down, you'll probably see the bucks. And sure enough, we snuck down. We went up to the top of the hill, waited for those thermals to switch. We waited a few hours until the thermals were going good, and then we dropped down where we thought those bucks were, and there was some bucks there. Long story short, we ended up eventually finding the buck that he was after, and he made a stalk on it that afternoon, and got a shot off. So pretty crazy situation where he was really, really aggressive about it, and it did work out in his favor. There's going to be situations though where that doesn't work out, and then there's the other person who's going to be a little more cautious and is going to be sitting on that hill, and if that buck goes and beds in a spot where, one, either the stalk doesn't look very good, or two, you just can't see the buck or something, or you don't know exactly where he's at, that person might hold off and wait another day. So you can kill deer both ways. You can use your personality and your feelings to your advantage, and be comfortable with the type of stuff you're getting. But you don't want to pass up on an opportunity if it could actually have a high potential of working out. You also don't want to push an opportunity that has a high potential of not working out. And I think the way you learn that is from experience, and oh, okay, that buck's bedded there. It looks like that one might. I just need to wait for him. Maybe it's another day that stalk doesn't work. That stalk will work out. But sometimes you just got to learn from experience and get after it, and you start to figure this stuff out and learn your areas and learn these deer, and learn this stuff. So it's hard to say, like, give you a sure answer on that one, but that's kind of my advice, and I hope it helps. I've killed one mule deer with my bow in my life. I've hunted for 2 years hard for mule deer, and I killed my buck last year. So I'm not like the most I don't have the most experience, although I consume mule deer content every day. Like, not even kidding. I read books. I listen to podcasts about mule deer. So I feel like I have my head kind of wrapped around a lot of it. But then again, I'm not the best mule deer hunter, and I know that, and I'm always learning. And that's kind of the best part about it, is you can always learn. So thanks you guys for listening. If you want me to answer your question, shoot me a DM, send me a message, drop a comment in one of these videos, and I can do a little episode just like this one, answering your question. So thanks you guys. We will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks. We'll see ya.